Previously on Affinity.
You hear how that man is saying, that's how you're supposed to also see me. I mean, like, you hear how he's saying he can know when there is need to change, and there is a man who seems foolish. And I know I'm talking to someone.
Yes,
they're watching together and someone is saying, you see how you're supposed to be seen?
Yeah.
And the guy doesn't still understand what you're saying. Yeah, he's like, I understand her. I understand when she needs money, she doesn't cook. That's all I understand. So the question is that for everyone? Does it come automatically? Is it like something that is given to all marrieds? It just happens and then by the experiences we begin to understand the language? Or is it something intentionally done?
What is intentional is looking out for the experiences. What is not intentionally done is developing the language. The language is a result of people who are attentive to each other. Gentlemen especially, let us pause life and give our dear wives attention. Like, be attentive, be home. I used to work in the same organization with my wife. We were always in the same vehicle, going home and coming back. But at some point, we were the most lonely people. And I know that very many married people are the most lonely people on earth. And many singles, those are things that make them hate or get to fear marriage. People in marriage can be so lonely. And I want to say this, let us be very present. Make sure your mind is into me. Are you present to me? Present with me? Ondaba. And the man is saying, what do you want?
And there's already actually who I know who says they don't want such a kind of man. Who gives me all the attention and I want some me time. I mean.
And this that I'm saying doesn't take away me time. It simply means the time we are together, can you be with me? That's where the intentionality should be. You need to all know when you come from your workspaces and you come back home, be intentional to have like an hour together where the mind is attentive to your spouse. So I want people to understand the foundation. I chose to start it from the foundations. An example is your relationship with your baby. A baby who is unable to speak is one that can give us an example of heart communications and understanding each other. To have a mother or even a father, but especially a mother, who cannot understand their child's language is a simple proof that this mother has not given that child time. They're absent. They're not sharing experiences with this baby. When you share experiences with your baby, you've carried this baby in your womb for 9 months. You've brought them out and you're breastfeeding them 6 times a day. You cannot have this baby cry and you can't tell why. You can tell when the baby is crying because they are hurting emotionally, when the baby is crying because their body is in pain, when they are crying because they are feeling, what is chejo in English?
They want to be loved.
They feel like they want attention. You can be able to tell the difference as a mother. The only reason is you're connected to this child by experience. You've experienced this child in the womb, and when they were born, you've spent intentional quality time with them consistently, that there is a language that has developed. This child also knows your language without you speaking. They can tell mommy is not giving me attention. There's a child in the arms of a mother, but the mother is with other people, and the child can tell and is unhappy. And they'll cry, bite them, or push them to get attention. Or they can tell that mommy is talking or not. Why? Because of the experience that they are sharing. So you cannot discuss conversations, speech, talks before you deal with the foundation of marital communication, which is firstly understanding each other. Understanding each other as a couple, communicating at heart, being one in heart, which is facilitated by experiences. So language is not something you can be intentional on developing. Language is a result of what you can do intentionally to connect and know each other. When you spend time together attentively, when you're present in heart and mind, you will, by no doubt, without doubt, you'll be able to know each other. You'll understand each other. When you understand each other, language develops. You get it? Language develops. You just walk in, and as you walk in, your wife knows he just wants to change, you know? You get to your room and find a lighter sweaty pant on your bed, a simpler t-shirt, and you're like, ooh. The connection, the feeling of she knows what I need, and it's right there before you, is just so amazing. You come from church on Sunday, and you know that my wife right now doesn't want to see the kitchen. And you just drive them to a restaurant, and today we're having lunch at the restaurant. And the peace, because she was already beginning to think, now, oh God, starting the whole journey of cooking, and it's already 2 p.m. I'm tired. I was in these high heels. And you didn't have to ask her. You just went for lunch out, and she's like, this dude gets it. You know, even if that money was part of school fees for the children, she wanted you to eat of it, but you just understand her. There is a place where people are together, and one is talking and the other is feeling like, why don't you shut up? You're over talking. One who understands your language, in such a time, instead of saying, how was your day, honey? Did you reach work on time? You know, remember when you called me, you said, did you buy? If you understand him, you will know that this moment I need to just massage him. That is the best way I'm talking. You're going to be on that pillow, and you hear her massage those legs, massage those arms, massage that back, and you begin to say, I married well. I married well. Because she can hear you.
Wow.
She can hear you. And as you're doing that, you know, honey, just, you can rest on this pillow. You know, I reached late, and then boss nangamba, you've opened the tap without saying anything. And those are the things you wanted to hear. So many people are struggling with the place of connection. John C. Maxwell wrote a book that says, I would encourage everyone to read it. It says, everyone communicates, but few connect. What you want with your spouse is connection. When that connection is there, words are easy. When your spouse says, oh my God, I'm tired, they literally are saying, let's go to bed. There are spouses who can't go to bed alone. They want to go with you. There's another who says, I'm tired, and they mean, this is the best time for you to go and do your work. But how can you tell the difference? It's because of the language that has been developed out of the experiences you have together, and you can have your own language.
What I'm learning is it is important to learn the person's heart.
Yes.
That when words fail to communicate, you can understand the heart.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Very powerful. Now, Ditas, as we progress into the marital arena, I love my wife. She loves me. Communication is happening. We tell each other everything. There are things that happen in marriage. The turns. Every marriage, I believe there are a lot of things that happen. There's change in career. There's change in status of probably things that are happening. How do you truthfully communicate, staying respectful while you're communicating, and what sometimes causes that, even if I understand her heart, but there is when she says something that hurts me. You see, I can also understand my wife's heart. I think it's also important for us to discuss this.
Yes.
There is when I can understand the weakness of my wife's heart in how we have learned to communicate. But I know that this thing that I got involved in, if I tell her, it is going to hurt her. So I keep it to myself. Yet she may want to know, because if she finds out by herself, she will kill me for not telling her. How do you navigate towards that kind of communication that still brings you closer, even if the truth is hurting?
I think that I've already said in that space that case by case, these issues must be handled or managed case by case. I can't lie. I can tell you there are cases, and I'm keen, it's not all cases, there are cases of things that I believe you should not tell your wife or your husband based on how you know them. For example, my wife knows it. My children know boda. My child on a boda, no go area. I'm very serious on that. If she ever is in a situation that is very compromising, tight for her, and she sits on that border with that child, border to take that child somewhere, the child has reached well, everything is going on well, it is better for her to bury that until we meet God in heaven. Because when she tries to explain the complexity of the situation that was, I may go back to, so you never heard me when I spoke in the first place. There is something that fails to see what she was dealing with.
In just that situation, if it pushes you to the direction of you never heard me when, couldn't be that you actually understand her heart, that by the time she chose to put them on a border, she was stuck?
Because I'm also afraid of loosening my standard. Because if I appear to her that I understand, this standard may be compromised. And now, every day may look like another tough circumstance that led us to, before long it becomes a tradition. And I've broken something that I don't compromise.
Wouldn't understanding each other's heart give us the freedom to become familiar with how we just throw out our words?
We've come from the foundations of this. Understand each other. Give each other experiences. The result of that is you'll have a language. When you have a language, you now can speak to each other. But then you asked me a question. You asked me a question that while people talk to each other, what's the chance they can hurt each other? And how do they go about this idea of hurting each other even when we understand each other's heart? Firstly, it becomes highly minimal because you understand each other's hearts and you care for each other. So because you understand her, there are things you choose not to say, or there is a way you choose to say things because you already care for them. Two, that actually on several occasions, people understand each other. When they hurt each other by speech, it was even intentional because they know when I touch here, I'll get him. So they can actually choose to say it intentionally. So they can hurt each other on purpose. Now, that they are doing that on purpose is even easier to deal with because then later they can easily repent of, I was so angry and I knew when I say this, that's what will catch your attention because you didn't seem like you're even willing to break. So I knew where I will touch and you break. And I touched it because I just wanted you to break as being selfish.
Yeah.
So you see, the goal is they are communicating, they are connecting, they know when they want him happy, they know what to do. When they want him to hurt, they know what to do. Like women manipulate husbands using sex and their bodies, they know. When I show him my body this way, he breaks, I can now get him to a place I want him to be. And men manipulate women on grounds of money, on grounds of power. They manipulate them and then they get the woman to do what they want. So because they know that her problem is this, so they understand her, so they intentionally on purpose touch that place. So you find a very few cases where those who understand each other, connect to each other in language, can now hurt each other unintentionally. It happens, but it is very rare. It is not such a common thing because these people spend time together. This is where someone will ask you, really? And this one will be like, oh my God, truth is it slipped. You discover it even becomes easy for them to recognize that, oh my God, did I just say that? Oh my God, did I just say that? Like he has driven off, they were relatives or friends, so she's asking, guys, what exactly did I say? What? That's what I said. Oh my God, guys, I'm finished. Have you had something like that?
Yeah.
And other people are saying, but what's wrong? Isn't that normal? You see? She knows the gravity of her statement. So she will literally run inside that house, make that phone call, send that message. She's already setting herself for reconciliation because they connect. She understands that word goes off the wrong way.
Yeah.
When it's him, that goes off the wrong way. You see? So she's going ahead to do something like that. So reconciliation is easy. Repentance is easy. You come home and find the environment prepared to receive you because someone knows they did wrong. They are prepared to amend. It's more hurtful for somebody to be irresponsible with their mouth and they even don't know. It's worse. It's better when they say it and they know. But when they don't know, it's unmatched. So that is what I needed to emphasize, that people should know that the understanding of each other, the connection, the language, which things develop out of intentional relationships and experiences, turns out to become a great foundation for effective communication in marriage. Because we do communicate with words, we communicate with actions, we communicate with body language, with what we don't do, and all these things.
Understanding the foundation and understanding that we have now learned our hearts. The question I was asking was the turns now. Usually there are times we have different changes in our lives. It can be a change in career, it can be a change in, it could be now the child, and usually the attention changes to sometimes what has changed. For example, to the mom, if I had learned her heart and we got to know each other, the attention can change to the child. If I've been elevated, maybe I've become the president, now the big thing is me serving the nation. And sometimes it happens that my partner no longer feels safe, no longer feels understood, because I have given myself, I've given my inclination to other things that I am serving. How do you deal with that? Because we have seen it even to couples that seemed to start so well. There comes a time and it looks like they have a problem. It's like they no longer click with each other. How do we avoid that? And then how do we navigate the changes?
People should know that no one on this planet, honestly, powerful statement, is as important as your spouse. Your spouse is the most important human being that you can have on earth.
More than my child.
Yes.
I asked my wife if we were in a situation where either our child or I have to die, which one would she choose?
Why do you talk those things? Those are questions you shouldn't ask. Of course, usually those can go down to the place of who must, the circumstance, case by case again. For example, the baby is vulnerable, can't run on their own. Your wife has legs, you have legs. You may say, run on your own, let me carry the child. That may not say that I've loved the child more than you, so I should have carried you over the child. You're going to even be heavier and I can't run faster. So those are just simple things. But let's talk me, my dad and my mother. I expect my dad right now to recognize that I spend 4 weeks in a month. Okay, 3 weeks in a month not talking to him. But he needs my mother. So if he's going to use me over my mother, and I see this in senior parents, the woman wakes up and chooses her sons, and they become her best friends. And the man chooses his sons or daughters, and they become his best friends, and they all forget each other. You're even disrupting the families of these people, the younger children, your new families, because you're being involved in their lives. Focus on your spouse, rekindle, think about giving each other amazing experiences, and do not walk away. So, know that your spouse is the most important person on this earth. Not your relatives, not your uncles, not your auntie, not your brother, your spouse. And now that you know that, make sure Uganda can go wherever it wants to go.
The bank, for me, this situation, it's a matter of national security. There are things I'm not supposed to tell my wife.
Yes.
And you're in a place of work where they even tell you this is a matter of national security. Even your wife shouldn't know. And my wife is asking me what I'm doing before I come back home.
Yes.
And because my work or whatever I'm doing does not allow me to tell her, and here telling me she's the most important person. How do we go even about that?
Yeah, the place of understanding. Understanding doesn't mean saying everything.
Okay.
Again, like I said, you may say it and it jeopardizes her peace or her security or the security of your family. So it may be love not to tell her. It may be love not to open up.
Okay.
Certain things going on. I am a therapist. I may be involved in a relationship of her sister and her husband. And if she gets to know, she could go destroy the husband of her sister because she's learned the husband of her sister is doing this too. And yet those two can reconcile and forgive each other and move on. She may never forgive them. So I can choose never to tell her what is going on in the relationship of her sisters, you know. So when you know that she's the most important person, you get to realize that all other things can happen. We can get jobs and businesses, but we should ensure never to compromise the experiences that we give each other. Let's find time. Let's intentionally create the experiences. What you're talking about that happens in changes, you're talking about people compromising their quality time, the time they spend together, that builds that confidence, that trust, the language, and ultimately the words. When you see yourselves go off that trail, please invite each other back. Invite each other back. Nothing should ever get you soaked in it to lose your spouse.
Now, Ditas, we trying now to learn that I understand my wife. We've learned, we understand each other, we know each other. But then now there is the issue of difference in personalities. And then there is also, I am the man, she is the woman. And while we understand each other, there are a lot of other things that we marry with our cultural differences, our history, and some things like we talked about expectation, some things I would imagine you don't do. But even while I understand you as a man on your end, I'm the woman, let's say. As a woman, I can't come to tell you some things that, quote unquote, I feel obvious. Like telling you, I'll just give an incident. I and my wife are going to church. I don't like being late for anything. And it so happens that usually when we are going to church, I go with my family, my mom, and you see? So every time, like, I'm pressurizing her about time. Hey, my mom is already waiting. She knows my heart that I love her, but it's a sensitive matter on how she should tell me, if you really want to prioritize your mom more than me, please go without me. She is in love, sensitive, not to just pour it out, but it doesn't matter how she pours it out, it may sound like that. While we understand each other, how do we communicate sensitive things? How do we communicate things that we are still not sure how they will come out or may look like disrespectful, but still keep each other?
There are laws that govern everything in life, including engagements. Subject yourself and all you do to those laws. You will always be safe. Firstly, like I've already said again, I started from what I thought was the harder part. The remaining, for me, I take them much easier or simpler. When you have the understanding, when you have the language, when you connect, even when you go wrong in speech, it's easier to correct. It's easier to reconcile because, again, it will be a once in a while thing. It's once in a blue moon. So it's easy to realign. Even you yourself, you'll know before they tell you. That's one. But then, okay, so it has happened. We are going to talk. I don't know now. Truthfully, this one seems new. I don't know how he's going to take it. Submit it to some laws that govern this. For example, the Bible is clear. The head of every woman is the man. Treat your husband as the master of your marriage, the leader of your marriage, and head over you. That's a big law. How do you talk to your highness, your lordship? The word husband means master. Now, women don't like to hear that, especially coming from the mouth of a man. It's a truth. It is safer for you to learn it and accept it. Don't marry a man who you don't think should be master. Okay? But the word husband means master, means Lord. How do you speak to your Lord? Let me say this. Have certain women here noticed, even men, that you speak to your boss respectfully, speak to your pastor respectfully, speak to church elders and blah, blah, respectfully, and your husband, you look down on. In other words, the only reason you speak to him that way is just because he's your husband. You have a problem. Your boss too is insensitive, he's harsh, he's rude, he's all these things, but you still speak to him respectfully. So it's a change of mind. You just need to realize the laws that apply.